Alright, I'm back. So let's continue with the liveness analysis stuff. So this is from 2026, Gate 2026. In fact, it is from session 2, the paper that I in fact wrote, where I did not know how to attempt this question at all. So let's smash that, whatever happened back then, and make this thing better for us now. Okay, so what they're asking is, so here is a CFG. So they've given us a control flow graph, and then they have given us a nice little graph, and then they have asked which one of the following options is the set of the live variables at the exit point of each basic block. So they don't ask about 1 or 2 or 3, or they are asking for every single block which are the live variables in the exit point. Let me actually not do so much rubbish here, but the point is they're asking for the exit point, live variables at exit point. Again, remember that. So live and exit, right? They're asking for both, right? So it should be live and it should be at the exit. So there's that. I will kind of move these things a bit, actually I didn't have to move it but I guess it's fine. Okay, so let's get started. Now we could try manual tracing. By the way, manual tracing and elimination could work, but I probably will not recommend it to myself at this stage, because it can in fact get very messy. You can overlook a couple of variables and it gets ridiculous. It's not nice, and it does not feel good to in fact miss a particular problem just because you did not have your eyes open wide enough, because it has been happening with me while I was practicing this particular problem. I've been missing the I've been missing the edges, like where the edges are, and that in fact has caused quite a bit of problem. I think the stuff is still visible, so we'll just continue. Okay, so we'll come back, we'll zoom it back in when it is necessary, but for now let's begin with the table nonsense, because the table is in fact the best way to do it. So block, there are 1 2 3 and 4 blocks, so we'll just have 4 blocks here. We'll make a nice little line, right? Next, so now we start the game. Okay, so we have to look at the variables that are in the use simply means the left hand side. So in the first block it is B and C, there is no rocket science here. In the second block it is A and E. Yes, A and E, trust me, it is E. In the third block it is A and F. In the fourth block it is D and E. Alright, where is the, yep, there we go. Okay, beautiful. Now also remember that the use column is also in 1. The first iteration of in is what use is basically. So there we go. Then we go to the gen or the def column. I'm not going to rename it this time, who cares. Okay, first we'll fill it up. First block A is the one that is being generated. In the second block D is the one that is being generated, again generated because it is in the left hand side, right? In the third block E is the one that is being generated. In the fourth block G is the one that is being generated. Amazing, brilliant, we are doing amazing. Next, alright, oof. Now out 1. Okay, now we have to look at the variables that are coming out of these particular blocks. Basically that is all that we are supposed to do. Okay, so the out for block 1, so how do you get the out? Basically out is basically the union of all the successors. You have union of, okay, hold on, the union of the in, so let's call in I of successor. Okay, so union of all the successors that you have, and then when you look at the in that you want to calculate, so the in for a particular guy will in fact be the use, right? The use union with whatever the out of I is minus gen, I think. Yeah, minus gen or def, whatever you call it, it's basically the same. That is how it is. These equations don't matter. The point is just write it down 2 or 3 times, you'll get the point. It's not that difficult. Okay, out 1, how do you get it? So the successor of B1 is 2 and 3. Okay, so the successor 2 and 3, so we just take the union of these guys and write it here. So A, E and F, that's basically it. Now the successor of block 2 is block 4, so D and E, right? D and E. Now when you look at block 3, the successor of block 3 is block 1, so B and C. Successor of block 4 is, well, nobody, phi, who cares, right? So dump it, no one cares, phi is fine. I noticed that the things are getting a bit tilted, who cares, we'll just keep moving. Okay, now the second in iteration, so what has to happen here, we have to subtract out from gen. So let's see, so AEF minus A is EF, EF union BC is BCEF. Okay, amazing. Then DE minus D is E, and then E union AE is AE. BC minus E is BC, BC union AF is ABCF. Phi minus G is phi, phi union DE is DE. That's basically it. So this whole thing actually gets very easy and quick mechanically when you're doing it on a notebook, because you have two hands, you can kind of cover things and write things down quicker. So there's that. But of course on a digital board it will take some time. No, not digital board, I mean it's a pen tablet, who cares? So semantics, So out 2, for the first block the successors are 2 and 3. So AE union ABCF, so ABCEF. Now for the second block the successor is block 4, so that is DE. Now for block 3 the successor is block 1, so BCEF. And then for block 4 the successor is, well, nobody, so no one cares about that guy, poor guy. Then we end this, then where is the pen? Oh, of course we have to turn this off. Okay, now I'm at in 3. Now again this is not a good point to actually pause. We'll pause after in 3 and then we'll notice. So in 3 let us calculate. So out 2 minus gen, so ABCEF minus A is BCEF, BCEF union BC is BCEF. Amazing. DE minus D is E, E union AE is AE. BCEF minus E is BCF, BCF union AF is ABCF. Okay, phi minus G is phi, phi union DE is DE. And this is a good place to stop. Oops, what am I doing? I should not be drawing lines by hand. Come on now. Amazing. Now this is where I want to stop. Okay, this is where I want to stop and then ask a very important question. So let me use the eraser, and I probably should, in fact, yes, that's the one that I wanted to use. And yeah, okay, that's good enough actually. Give me the pen, thank you. Now let me increase the size of this whole thing again so that I can show one thing and then undo the change. So what they're asking here again, so the thing that they're asking here is that set of live variables at the exit point. When you look at the words in and when you look at the word out, which of these sounds like the exit? Of course out does, right? And of course out is the one that sounds like the exit. So that is why in is in fact not the answer, because what in represents is, in is the set of variables, in is the set of variables that are alive in block. Okay, out is the set of variables that are alive while exiting the block. Basically that is the difference here, that is the distinction that really matters. Okay, that is why we shall continue now. So let us look at out 3. We have to basically find out out 3, otherwise things will basically go very wrong. So the successor of block 1 is block 2 and 3. So block 2 and 3, so A, B, C, E, F. Okay, the successor of block 2 is block 4, so D, E. Successor of block 3 is block 1, so B, C, E, F. And then the successor for block 4 is absolutely nobody. Now what we have to do basically is, we of course have to look at whether in has changed much or not, because in is the main sort of dependent here, and thankfully nothing has changed, therefore we can stop here. This is in fact the final iteration. Okay, and even you can compare out as well, for that matter, it doesn't really matter. You'll notice that basically they have stabilized. You can repeat this 2 billion times and nothing will change. The same set of variables will appear in the in and the out columns. All right, amazing. So we basically have our answer ready. It is all the stuff that is in the out column. Okay, so let's look at the options. So the easiest one first, B4 has to be a phi, and as you will notice in every single one of them B4 is a phi. So this option is not even this variable is, or sorry, this block is not even useful. Then let's look at block 1.
in some block 1 they have given 5. Now you'll notice that block 1 is in fact not 5, it has some stuff. So this means that this means that B and D are completely wrong. Okay, and then you'll notice that block 2 does not matter, the answer is common for all of them, A, B, C, E, F. So block 1 does not matter. What matters is block 3. If you look at block 3, the block 3 stuff is B, C, E, F. B, C, E, F is in this option A. Therefore this is correct, this is completely wrong. So there you go. That is basically how that works. It's actually very easy, and yeah, I think I demonstrated it. It does not require much intellect or anything. You just have to do basic comprehension and solve it. It's pretty easy. So that's about it. See ya.